Today we'll talk about the teaching of reading skills. This involves a lot of sub-skills. In the beginning, we will have a brief introduction of reading and comprehension. Reading is a process of making meanings from written text. It involves comprehending what has been written and actively engaging the reader with the passage in order to make certain meanings. It means the reader constantly corresponds to what has been written in front of him. It's a complex skill and it involves an array of resources of information in order to make meanings. For example, first of all, it relies on reader's background knowledge. Whatever he reads, he could draw meanings from that reading only when he has a relevant background knowledge. Otherwise, it will involve a lot of effort on the part of reader to make some understandable meanings. Moreover, the information suggested by the text is also important in order to make meanings. And another important factor in this regard is the meanings coming from the context. As we know that the words may change or modify their meanings in certain contexts. So, knowing the context is very important about which a text has been written. Reading involves word recognition, knowing the word by looking at them. It involves comprehension, constructing meanings of what has been written, and the fluency. And this occurs by coordinating word recognition and the meaning-making comprehension. Both extensive and intensive readings are important to make a good reader. One who wants to become a good reader should rely and work on both different forms of reading. With extensive reading, a teacher allows the reader to select a text for him or herself, and most of the time in such a reading, a reader reads for his own pleasure or developing a general understanding about something. Intensive reading, on the other side, is teacher-driven and well-directed. And it aims at developing specific skills among students. A skill such as skimming, which involves reading for general understanding or the gist, and scanning, which aims at reading for some specific information within the text. And it also involves detailed comprehension of the text and reading for inference or reading for knowing the attitudes of the characters within a text. Every reading has a purpose because, as we know, reading is a purposeful activity. Otherwise, we may not be able to draw proper meanings from a text unless we know its purpose. The purpose may vary from situation to situation and from reader to reader. Some reader might read something to verify their already existing knowledge or to add on to that knowledge. They may read it to critique a writer's point of view or get a broader information from the text. They also read it, as I said earlier, for the enjoyment or pleasure, or to develop their knowledge of the language. That means they would read for certain linguistic purpose. There could be many attributes of a good reader. Among them, following are more important. For example, a good reader reads extensively. He integrates information based on his own personal knowledge and have a flexible reading style, again depending on the nature of the text he is reading. He is always motivated to read something. A good reader is always a good reader. He relies on different skills while reading something, for example, on perceptual processing, phonemic processing, recall, etc. There are so many skills which are involved while reading. So he relies on all of them. And more importantly, he reads for a purpose. He knows what he's going to do or achieve from a reading. Reading, as I said earlier, is a process. It's not a static thing. It's a process. So therefore, we see, and it's an interactive process between reader and the text. And only when we realize that it's a process, we could reach to a proper comprehension of the text. The text encodes meanings in various words and letters, etc. And a good reader uses his skills, strategies, and background knowledge to decode those meanings. So overall, we could see that reading is an interactive process, and a lot of meaning making related to a text may depend on reader's knowledge and his awareness of the purpose of the reading.